All right, good morning in the Americas, good evening in Asia, good afternoon in Europe and Africa. It's exactly 4 p.m. here in Nairobi, time for Citizen TV Briefs. My name is Jimmy Mbogo. Let's get you informed on some of the stories making headlines across the country. Now, the IEBC continuous voter registration exercise entered its second day across the country, with a relatively low turnout being registered at various constituency registration centers. At the Kibra constituency voter registration center, youth aged between 19 and 23 years turned up with their identification cards to undergo the biometric identification and registration process that lasted between 10 to 15 minutes. The total number of newly registered voters at the IEBC Kibra constituency registration center is above 50, with the IEBC targeting 6.3 million new voters by the end of the year. And of course, we will be tracking that voter registration process, and we hope that those that are yet to register will go out and do the needful. Now, moving on, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has issued advisories to the government to enhance protection of human rights. The Commission wants the government to move with speed and ratify optional international protocols, including the ones that ensure the protection of people from enforced disappearances, the rights of migrant workers, as well as the operationalization of the multi-agency team on criminalization of enforced disappearances.
When I look at the scenario within the African region, many African governments are not keen on ratifying the optional protocols. As mentioned in the discussions earlier, optional protocols gives the citizens a chance to raise their human rights concerns and violations at a different arena, when the local mechanisms have not redressed them to the satisfaction of those citizens. I don't know whether they fear the numbers of the cases that may go, outside the country. I'm not sure whether that will be causing an embarrassment, to the country. But the bottom line is many African countries, including Kenya, are not keen on ratifying the optional protocols so that they give individual citizens in those countries the opportunity to air their human rights violations across the borders. For example, the African Court on Human and People's Rights, among others.
Now, family, friends and leaders across the political divide, led by Martha Karua, Moses Kuria and Raphael Tuju, have eulogized the late Dalmas Otieno as a leader who championed the rights of common mwananchi and brought change to the country during his tenure as a minister in various ministries. The memorial service for the veteran politician, who died on September 7, 2025, at his home in Nairobi after being ill, was held at the Don Bosco Catholic Church in Nairobi ahead of his burial on Thursday in Kangeso village in Rongo. The number of leaders, including former President Uhuru Kenyatta, have confirmed their attendance.
But he was tall intellectually, and for that reason, many of us looked up to him for his very calm counsel, his very kind and concern, especially for the people that he served.
When I came to know Dalmas and I was consulting with him, and especially when 2013, 2017, I was working closely with Uhuru Kenyatta, and Dalmas was in court, and the country was so divided. And Dalmas was the reason, the voice of reason, which was calming us down, bringing everybody together, and really, I've not in a long time seen such a steadfast man who could not be swayed.
He's one of the fellows who told Uhuru in 2006, 2007, when we were riding on ODM, all politics is local. Achana na hii, alafu hiyo ndio ilimfanya I inherit your Mount Kenya. They loved him in politics, but they knew akipanda hiyo mlima, against the mlima, mambo itakuwa ngumu.
Now to education matters, where a section of Kenyatta University students have threatened to join their lecturers on strike if the government does not resolve their issues within the next 24 hours. The students, who have been forced to study on their own for 3 weeks now, say their academic calendar has been disrupted and there is need to compensate them for the lost time. They have also hit out at the government for failing to address issues bedeviling the education sector.
We demand for concrete public stated plan for the recovery of lost time, including revised academic calendar to prevent this disruption from becoming lost semester or delayed graduation for thousands of students.
And it's remaining like 1 month to our examination, and we've never seen our lecturers in class. And we are not going to retreat. We are here so that you can hear our voices.
Any delayed academic calendar, they shall compensate it. Yes. As we know, right now there's an ongoing strike of the lecturers. We will not sit back and relax while these people are delaying our dreams in this nation.
Yes.
Now, from education to health matters, where health unions in the country have threatened to withdraw healthcare services to compel the Ministry of Health to intervene in the ongoing crisis in Kiambu County. The caucus has taken issue with Kiambu County Governor Kimani Wamatangi over what they term as total disregard of healthcare workers' rights and poor working conditions. The county has experienced a biting doctor strike for the last 126 days, prompting the ministry to redeploy over 600 medical interns from the county.
It is 126 days not of doctor strikes, but 126 days of county strike. Because it is the county that has come out in all the manners of ways to ensure that the right things are not done to the doctors. And this is not limited to only doctors. It's also for the nurses. It's also for the clinical officers. That's why all these teams have agreed to issue notice next week to join the strike.
If a county cannot be able to manage health services, then the health services are transferred back to the national government. Because it is the work of government to ensure that the citizens get the highest standards of health as detailed under Article 43 of the Constitution.
President, the way the 25,000 signatures, the petitions, watu wa Kiambu wamelia, wanakuangalia. We want to see Kiambu Metropolitan Services as early as yesterday. Comrades, power. People like Wamatangi should just go home. They should we want to see the issue about healthcare. It's a right in this country. You cannot be one person, you cannot be able to deny the entire Kiambu resident the right to healthcare.
If it means that we will suspend everything to pump sense into the governors, we shall do that. Kiambu County is a classical example of a failed county, because why should you fight unions?
Now, Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi has reaffirmed that the ODM party will firmly stand with the Kenya Kwanza government even beyond the 2027 general election. Speaking in Kibagenge, Baringo South, when he commissioned a rural electrification project under the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, REREC, the CS praised President Ruto's leadership, saying the Kenya Kwanza is uniting the country beyond party and ethnic lines, and expressing optimism that the ODM Kenya Kwanza unity will continue beyond 2027.
Hata Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga, baba, lazima tumshukuru yeye vile vile, si ndio? Kwa sababu baba Raila Amolo Odinga na Mheshimiwa Rais William Ruto ni mandugu, si ndio? Baba ni mkubwa na rais ni mdogo, na wametoka mbali wakiwa pamoja, na wanajuana kikamilifu, si ndio? Lazima tumshukuru baba Raila Amolo Odinga kwa kuamua kuunga mkono hii serikali ya Mheshimiwa Ruto. Na kwa hakika tangu baba afanye uamuzi, serikali iko imara.
Now, Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome now says the registration of the 4,700 acres of Kiombo land in Narok County was irregularly done before a survey could be conducted on the piece of land. Speaking when she appeared before the National Assembly Lands Committee, the CS said the ministry is still perusing the documents on the land. The community claiming ownership of the land has filed an appeal on the Court of Appeal decision that declared Livingstone Tutu was the rightful owner of the land.
The issue of 155 is a strange number that only known to Kunini and the people probably helping him to acquire and deprived and rob the Maasai people.
Survey precedes the registration. So then it's out, it speaks for itself. That's what lawyers say. If there is no survey records, then there is a problem. In fact, sometimes even the records may be misplaced. But in this case, we are saying they did not exist.
It is not possible, only for this case, which I have seen now, that there was a registration of a parcel of land that is never supported by any survey. And that is why, from our side, we have already declared that this parcel is foreign to us.
A family in Kakuma is appealing to the government and the intelligence department to help in the search of their kin who was allegedly kidnapped last month while conducting business in Nairobi's Eastleigh estate. The family says that their search for Abdisamed Ahmed has been unsuccessful despite having reported the matter to several police stations in Nairobi and in Kakuma in Turkana County. It has now been 6 weeks since his disappearance. Now the family is now asking the DCI to use CCTV footage and the vehicle suspected to have been used in the kidnapping to locate his whereabouts.
Shockingly, the abduction held at the 2nd Avenue roundabout near Equity, Bangi Slip Branch, by a silver pickup double cabin with a registration number of KCH 654D. The occupant forcefully kidnapped him and ran away. We, the family members, relatives, and friends, gathered here today to express our deep distress, restlessness, and sleepless nights.
Watu hawapati amani. Kwa hivyo kama kuna makosa yoyote amefanya, tunaomba serikali, tunaomba huyu mtu aweze kupatikana. Na kama kuna makosa yoyote, afikishwe mahakamani, ajibu mashtaka.
Now, the Orange Democratic Party has exuded confidence in clinching all the constituencies and ward seats in the November 27th by-election. The party's national chairperson Gladys Wanga, who presided over the handover of certificates to the winners of the concluded primaries in Kasipul, Magarini and Unguja constituencies, said ODM remains the most popular party and that it will embark on rigorous campaigns against its opponent in the race. The party leader also took a swipe at DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua for asserting that there are divisions in the opposition outfits.
Sisi tutatembea kila kona ya Kenya tukipigania our candidates. And for our officials, especially our MCAs, our MPs, this time we will not be going to the wards and the constituencies only on election day.
Sasa ODM iko tayari kwenda kwa ground sasa. Kwenda kupambana kuhakikisha ya kwamba candidates wetu wote wanashinda kiti yao na wamerudi na ushindi, Mungu akikubali.
Now, police in Chuka have launched investigation into the mysterious death of a 29-year-old man whose body was found inside his locked car. Chuka North Sub-County Police Commander Paul Kuria said the man had been reported missing since Friday night, only for his body to be found inside his car, which was parked next to a bank. Detectives recovered 2 charcoal stoves with burnt remains inside the vehicle, pointing to a possible suicide. Kuria urged residents to seek help when struggling with mental health issues.
Naomba tu wananchi kama mtu wako na shida, ni vizuri kujadiliana na familia Pia kuna professional counselors ambaye pia wanaweza saidia mtu kuongelesha. Hakuna shida ambaye haiwezi tatuliwa kuliko kufika mahali kingine tunapoteza watu kwa njia isiyoeleweka.
The Nairobi High Court has temporarily barred the Directorate of Criminal Investigations (DCI) from accessing or demanding confidential medical records from 2 private hospitals in connection with investigation into the recruitment of Kenyan fighters in the Russian war. Justice Chacha Mwita had on Monday issued conservatory orders restraining the DCI, the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police from obtaining files held by Universal Trend Medical and Diagnostic Center and InSpoCare Health Limited until October 8th. The dispute began after the DCI demanded records of patients Vincent Odhiambo and Mogi Duncan and details of all patients whose bills were paid by international organizations in the past 6 months. The investigators claimed the information was critical in their probe on how ex-Kenya Army officers were recruited to join Russian forces. Now, the hospital, through lawyer Dunstan Omari, termed the directive unconstitutional and a violation of patients' rights. All right, and that's all we have for you on Citizen TV Briefs at this hour. More details will be coming your way later on at 7 p.m. and at 9. Thank you for watching. My name is Jimmy Mbongo.